Ah, little ones, before you close your eyes and drift off into dreams, let Grandpa tell you a story, a tale of mystery, of something that lurks in the night. But don't worry, because at the end, you'll see that all fears can be overcome. Now, listen closely. And remember, not everything that knocks should be invited in. Horror, my dear little ones, is a strange thing. It creeps in when the lights are dim, when shadows stretch just a little too far, when a familiar sound, like a doorbell chime, turns unfamiliar. The unknown is what makes us shiver, what makes the heart race. And tonight, I'll tell you of a man who learned just how terrifying the unknown can be. It started with a chime, an innocent, familiar sound. The doorbell rang at 2:47 a.m., jarring David from a restless sleep. He blinked at the red glow of the alarm clock, confusion settling in his foggy mind. No one ever came to his house this late. Another chime. David sat up, rubbing his eyes, the shadows in his dimly lit bedroom pressing against the walls. His phone buzzed on the nightstand, a notification from his smart doorbell camera. He hesitated before picking it up, an odd prickle running down his spine. His thumb hovered over the screen before he finally tapped the notification. The app loaded slowly, the spinning wheel at the center adding to his growing unease. Then the feed flickered to life. At first he saw nothing, just the empty front porch illuminated by the pale yellow light of the fixture above the door. The street beyond was quiet, the trees swaying gently in the autumn wind. Another chime, the movement alert refreshed, and this time the screen showed something or someone standing just outside the camera's frame, a shadow, barely visible, lurking at the very edge of the motion detection zone. David squinted, trying to make sense of it. He cleared his throat and pressed the intercom button. "Hello?" His voice sounded rough, thick with sleep. Silence. Then another chime. The figure stepped closer. David's stomach twisted. It wasn't quite right. The shape on the screen was tall, unnaturally so. Its limbs were elongated, its torso stretched as though someone had pulled at it like soft taffy. But its head, that was the worst part. It was tilted at an unnatural angle, cocked almost to its shoulder, as if it had been broken. And yet, it stood perfectly still, its face obscured in the poor lighting. His breath hitched. Was it a prank? A Halloween costume? But no one in town pulled stunts like this, not here. His house was isolated, resting at the edge of a thick forest. The nearest neighbor was miles away. David swallowed and turned on the porch light from his phone. The bulb flickered before humming to life. The figure had not moved. He squinted, trying to make out the face, and then it turned. A slow, deliberate movement, its head rotating with an unnatural crack, revealing a grin that stretched too wide for a human face. Its skin was pale, almost translucent, stretched too tight over sharp cheekbones. Its eyes were hollow pits, dark and endless. David's chest tightened with terror. The doorbell chimed again. A new alert popped up. Motion detected. Backyard. His breath caught. That wasn't possible. There was no way someone could have moved that fast, not without him seeing. His shaking fingers tapped the notification, switching the feed to his backyard camera. Nothing. Just the swaying of the trees. A chilling breeze whispered through the night, and he realized the wind had stopped. Motion detected. Back porch. David's pulse pounded in his ears. He tapped the screen. His heart stuttered. It was there. Closer now, pressed against the sliding glass door. The same hollow eyes, the same unnatural grin watching him. It lifted one long, bony hand and placed it against the glass. A clicking sound came through the speakers. Not speech, not breathing. A rhythmic clicking like bones tapping against a hard surface. David stood so fast his chair scraped against the floor. He bolted to the bedroom door and slammed it shut, locking it with trembling hands. He reached for his phone, dialing 911 with frantic fingers. The operator answered. 911? What's your emergency? There's someone at my house, David hissed, pressing his back against the door. They're at my back porch. I don't know what it is. Stay on the line. Officers are en route. Can you describe the person? It's not. He stopped. The clicking had stopped. The house was silent. David checked his phone. The camera feed was frozen. No movement detected. He waited, breath shallow, ears straining for any sound. Minutes dragged into eternity. A soft tap, tap, tap echoed from the hallway outside his room. His blood turned to ice. Sir? The dispatcher's voice crackled through the phone. Sir, are you still there? David couldn't speak. His eyes locked onto the bottom of the door. A shadow pooled there, stretching inward. The doorknob rattled. A voice, whisper thin, rasped from the other side. Let me in. The bedroom light flickered. The air grew thick, suffocating. His vision blurred as fear choked him. Then, silence. Red and blue lights strobed outside. The distant wail of sirens cut through the night. David didn't move until he heard the pounding on his front door. Sheriff's Department. He stumbled to his feet, yanking the door open. His house was empty. The cameras showed nothing. No evidence, no footprints, nothing but a ringing doorbell and a house filled with the echo of something that should not exist. And yet, as he stood there, breath shaky, phone clutched in a white-knuckled grip, a final notification popped up on the screen. Motion detected. Basement. Ah, horror is a strange thing, isn't it? The way it lingers in the corners of your mind, whispering that maybe, just maybe, you aren't alone in the dark. But don't be afraid, little ones. Remember, fear only has power if you let it. Breathe in, let the tension melt away, and know that the real world is far safer than the one our minds create. Now, if you enjoyed tonight's tale, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Grandpa will always be here, ready to tell you another story, if you're brave enough to listen. Sweet dreams, my little ones. And remember, never answer the door at night.